Hey y'all, I'd like to welcome you guys to Morning Mimosas. My name is Holly, aka Hanai the Goddess. And as you guys know, Morning Mimosas, we put value in criminal justice, promoting healing and education for our Black community. So this format is a little bit different. This is one of the pre shows that you guys are going to be seeing that I will be uploading later. And I'm really excited to be speaking with this guest because her and I have a segment on Morning Mimosas called Healing with Hanaya and Miss Fatu. So without further ado, let me welcome my girl. And I can actually say she's a little bit of my mentor too, because she definitely helps me mentally. She's a goddess all in herself, Miss Fatu. Let's welcome her, y'all.
Hey,
I love it. Well, welcome, Miss Fatu. Thank you so much for being on Morning Mimosas. How are you today?
no problem. Thank you. I am great. I finished my homework today. That's all I did today from the time I woke up until 2 o'clock was that business homework. Oh, I had to get that out the way.
So, just I know this is random, but like, what? Can you just name like one class that you have to take for like business? Because I'm going to be eventually going back to school. I need to figure out.
This one that I'm taking, this is like introduction to business.
Okay.
I know you do have to take two maths, maybe three. Yeah, me and math is not really my friend. It's just not. But I'm taking those like first and second to get them out of the way, and then continue on. But I won't even be continuing in business, but I will have to take a math class because as you have introduced my love back to me of criminal justice. I changed my major to criminal justice, but I also want to throw like you need forensics and all of that, so I still have to deal with math. But I'm getting those puppies out of the way.
You guys heard it here. So I think I told my viewers that I inspired
Hmm.
a beautiful woman to change her major. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Fatu is that beautiful soul that I was able to convince, which I was actually really surprised by that because I'm like, I didn't know I had such an impact on her. So I love it. Thank you so much. Miss Fatu, can you go ahead and tell the people about yourself? And can you also tell them a little bit about the podcast that you have?
Yes, I am I like to say a recovering mental mind break survivor, all of the above. I live my life in a bubble, never letting people get close. I dealt with a lot of childhood abuse, of all physical, emotional, mental, religious wise. I mean, it was just so traumatic, and I didn't really realize how I was, failing through life. But I got married. I mean, I've been married twice, but I got married, and that marriage literally broke me. My mom living with me broke me. And so um, I have a podcast called This Could Be a Book. Um, and it's really inspired by the fact that I'm an avid journaler. And a friend suggested that I should write a book. So I've been writing and journaling for a while now, but really scared to put out my own material because of how I feel about me. So there's a lot of healing, breaking that I'm trying to get through in my life right now at 48 years old. Um, and so I got inspired to do a podcast. An acquaintance of mine and I were going to start a podcast, and ours never really came to fruition. But that motivated me to um, get out and say who I am and how I feel and how I got through a mental breakdown and how I'm healing through trauma and my love of life and finding love again and loving myself the most. Um, and so my wife said, "Why don't you do a podcast?" And I was like, that means I got to really stay true to that.
Right.
It's a project that, because I don't really speak about me to anybody.
Right.
Um, but I figured if I'm going to heal myself, then I should hold myself accountable. And if I put it out in the atmosphere, then I will get through whatever it is, whether it's the sound of my voice, whether it's how I look, my mannerisms, how I talk, all of the things that make me who I am, who broke me and am now coming back together. It's a beautiful thing.
Yes, it is. And I've heard a little bit of your story before, and I thank you for sharing a little bit of that. It's not easy healing from childhood trauma. It's not, especially if the people who you're trying to heal from won't change, but you still have to take that directive to make sure that
Mhm.
you do so. Um, Now, it's really interesting that you mentioned this because I want to talk about this as well. Religious abuse
Mhm.
is definitely a thing. Um, so, for those of you that know me personally, I am a believer of God, but I am not a believer of organized religion. Um, my Organized religion is just it's a joke to me. The way Christians and everybody else that practice, like, it's not all of them, but it's a lot of them. The way that they practice one thing, but they're super duper hypocritical in the background. Um, can you go ahead, Ms. Fatu, and speak on what your definition of religious abuse is, and if you are comfortable enough to talk about what that means for you?
Absolutely. It was the making of you have to go to church. And when I
Yep.
think about the amount of times, and on one hand, I do understand that parents feel like if they keep you in the church, that you will be better than they were at any stage of life. I'm a belief of that. But also having to be at church on a daily basis and all day on Sunday, and you have no say so. So a part of my makeup is that I will rebel at all costs, especially and dig my heels in on some things. So when I am forced to do something, I immediately hate it. Like it has to be not really my idea. You can tell me your spiel and get me to go, but tell me that I absolutely have to go was insane to me. Um, I remember turning 18. That was my mom's thing. Once you're 18, you can make the decision on whether you want to go to church or not. The very first Sunday after I hit 18, deuce. And even at that stage, I told her I could never step foot in church again and be saved by your standards for the rest of my life,
Right.
whether it's 2 seconds or 2 million years,
Right.
getting whooped in church because you're talking. But I went to the 6 o'clock service. I went to Sunday school. I went to regular church service. And if we had something else, then I had to go to that. And so by the third time that you've heard it, what else, why am I paying attention? It's
Right.
the same thing. It's the same thing every service. So I just didn't understand what the need to be there all the time was. Um, I think, spent a friend of mine was attending Lakewood. I was trying to think of is Joel Osteen.
I don't.
Um, the white guy who got jacked up when we had the storm.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that guy.
Fraudulence. Fraudulence.
Fraudulence at its finest. Well, go ahead though.
Yeah. She attended his church, and she would go like on a Saturday, and she asked me to come with her, and so I went. um Before my mother moved to Texas where I am, she came and she wanted to go, so I took her. That's it. um I think my son played drums for a guy who did my mom's hair, and I went to that service. After that, when I became about 30, I was trying to think of what age I was, I became Muslim. And I was Muslim for 19 years, 17, 18, 19 years. Um, I will always believe in the oneness of God. the creator, because I mean nothing else, makes sense.
Amen.
What I don't like is the judgmental.
Yes.
I don't like that from either side. I stated earlier, I'm not a fan of rules. And Islamically, when a lot of my anger diffused when I became Muslim, it was something peaceful about, pray 5 times a day and going through the prayer. And, especially and I still do look forward to Ramadan, because when you strip everything away, you get down to the core of who you are. And so you can make those decisions, good, bad, or otherwise. And so, but I am not a fan of, and never have been a fan, even when I went to Baptist church, the cliques.
Yeah,
And
sure.
I'm better than you because
Right.
my personality, when I choose to show my personality, is huge. And Islamically, you only display those in certain things, and not that in certain areas that's kind of tucked away. And I don't disagree with it, but I remember one time I was out getting a tea or something, and songs come on, and I want to just dance. And that was like almost the beginning of the end of not really leaving the religion, but like just being less cultish in my mind.
Right. If I can actually speak on that, and I know a lot of people are going to think that this is controversial, but starting controversy will be something that I do. So it is what it is. Cultish. I need people to realize that, because Miss Fatou mentioned something about cliques and stuff like that. I'm not saying every Christian does this. Okay, let's reiterate. There are some good Christians, good Muslims, etc. But we're talking about the ones that are judgmental, cliquish, and cultish. Okay. I mean, I don't know how you guys can be. What is that? He who cast, Jesus Christ, he who cast a stone first. Is that how that phrase goes? I just feel like
Who has now my mind went blank. Who is without sin cast the first stone?
there it is. That's how I think that people believe. That's how I really feel like humans act. Like they act like, oh, I can throw a rock and then hide my hand and act like I didn't do nothing. And that's how I see like religion, like in general. But it's don't get me started. Like if I can actually interject, Jehovah's Witness is another one that worries me a lot. Because first and foremost, why are you knocking at my door?
Yeah.
Bringing me the word. I know what the word is. The bird is the word.
And Mormons that do the same thing too. I feel like that's just dangerous. You're putting your congregation in danger. You don't know whose door you're knocking on.
Exactly. But you know what they would say? They're going to be like, oh, Jesus walked, to different people's houses. Well, Jesus had power. Y'all don't. Let's just so don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Jesus, you are not.
Exactly. That's what, and that's what people need to realize too, is that y'all try to act like you guys are holier than thou. But if for those of you who read the Bible, right, you guys it says be like Christ. It doesn't say be Christ.
Correct.
Right. So why are you acting like your shit don't stink? Miss Fatou, actually, can I tell you a story real quick, and then I got a question for you.
Okay.
I used to go to this church. I was like 17, 18. I got pregnant while I was in that church, and I lost my baby. And the pastor's wife, she seemed so supportive of me at the beginning, and then she started judging me for being pregnant. They judged me because I had a baby when I was 15 that I lost, but they started judging me again because I was pregnant again, right? But peep this, that pastor that I'm talking about, she had a baby at 16, but she wanted to judge me.
So she was upset that you reminded her of her?
Yeah, probably.
And punished you for that?
Probably, yep. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to stuff like that. I'm like, so you, because you're saved, right? And now you're
Right.
married to now you have a pastor husband, and now you had your other children in marriage, that you're just so perfect, right? But do you remember when you were busting it down open for your first baby's
Right.
father at
Right.
15? But you're judging me
Because
though.
I'm sure you weren't
Okay.
married at that time. So
But it is what it is. But my next question, sorry to go off on a tangent. I just had to relate there because just that shit just makes me so angry. But um, tell people. So you said that you're writing a book about your healing journey and everything else.
mhm.
If you don't mind sharing, what is your hesitation to release that book? And the reason I'm saying that is because I feel like that book would be monumental, especially to this generation that's always on social media doing things.
Mhm.
So what's going on with that? I feel like that would be like an amazing idea.
Because it's releasing me out there. And I have to
Releasing.
get over myself, really. That's all that it is. Really and truly, it's all that it is. It's me being scared. It's one of the reasons why it took me a minute to, even after I thought about, yes, let's do a podcast. Um, Me a minute to really commit to the idea of it, because it's me on display.
Right.
And could win the world over, but I don't want anyone to know that I did it.
Oh,
It's that kind of thing.
okay. Okay. I completely get that. I was just thinking, I'm like, I feel like that book would be just, it would be
I mean, I
New.
will get over myself and put it out, because I think that it is important. And one of the things that it keeps coming to a topic of conversation is purpose,
Right.
and maybe that is my purpose, you know. Because just like the podcast can reach so many, a book can take it further. Um,
Yes.
so I just really I gave myself a timeline to finish
Okay.
it and do what I need to do, and that is summertime. So
Okay, I like that. That's good. No, I wasn't trying to like bring that out of you. I was just like,
no, it's okay.
I'm really looking forward to that because I already know a little bit of your story, and I just feel like that would just be something that you would just see me just reading, and everybody like, "Hey, Holly, what you doing?" I'm like, "I'm reading this book. Hey, leave me
A
alone."
page
Shoo, shoo,
turner,
shoo.
yeah.
But I'm trying to think here. Oh, so as we're coming down to our last maybe few minutes here, let's talk about something that you and I talked about a lot. And like I said, me and her, we're okay with being semi-controversial.
Yeah.
Um, so me and Miss Fatu have a similar opinion on Mr. Quavarius. Um,
Hmm.
as you guys know, to the general public as Quavo.
Yeah.
Um, No, no, I'm not. I ain't sugarcoating shit.
No,
He
I think you set
eventually,
everything up.
right, right. Um, Quavo will be exposed for the human that he really is.
So he is.
Um, yeah, right, right. That part.
Uh-huh.
That part. The scum of the earth that he is. And I know a lot of people are gonna be like, "Well, you're being really hard on him. He just lost his nephew." But he just dissed his own cousin Offset in a song, while the people who allegedly murdered Takeoff can talk shit about Offset on an interview. What kind of family is that?
He's not family. He's not. He's treacherous, to say it the least. He's treacherous. Nobody ever. I don't know if people. I don't know. Can't fathom. I mean, people murder people for nothing. Family members or not, all the time. So if you're trying to gain some type of financial gain or status or whatever it is that you think that you are the badass about, you sacrificed a family member. You destroyed a family
Exactly.
for that. And then what do you get in return? Monetary satisfaction? What
Right.
is it? Because you were
That's
already getting money, so you had to sell your soul. Because that's basically what you did.
that's exactly what he did.
And then
And
at the Grammys, that whole situation, man.
don't get me
And I
started
hadn't
on
even
that.
heard the diss song, and glad that I didn't. And whoever supports that is pieces of shit as well.
Agreed. Agreed. My big issue is, just like she stated, obviously people murder their family members all the time. That's an unfortunate fact of life. That doesn't make it right by any means either. It's just the thing that upsets me about that is that Takeoff was the one that, for the most part, the one that we all loved. It was, for me, it was him and Offset. Quavo was completely out of the picture for me at that point. It should have just been them two, to be honest. Quavo doesn't even know how to rap. Maybe he can rap some Christmas gifts.
Oh, not pretty presents.
That's it. But no, it just the fact that he was okay with destroying. Yes, with it, yeah. Yeah, pretty presents. Like it's just absolutely ridiculous. Because what? Well, so we'll just speak on people selling their souls in general. What do you guys get out of that when you sacrifice a family member? I think we talked about when he held that chain up, and you said something that I liked. That chain should be worn by a human being, and I think you said not by a phantom. Maybe.
You should be worn by a human being. It's something to that effect, yeah.
And I was just like,
oh, not by air.
Oh, yeah. There it is. There it is, by air. I said by a phantom. Sorry, Takeoff. But it's just, well, let me hear your opinion, because at this point, I'm just like,
I just feel like it's just treachery at its best. That's what it is. And whatever gain, and Takeoff had to be removed, not be around that evilness that's going on.
Right.
Offset had to be removed, I guess, from that evilness as well, because it could have been something much worse if that didn't work.
Right.
When you think about how people, like, he got shot, and it could be an embarrassment because it was out in the street, and just like not in the hospital or anything like that, his body is on display. But if that didn't work, what would have happened then? Would somebody had kidnapped him and tortured him and did all these other different things? Would it have been worse? So since he had to go, and it had to be, that way, but I still go back to, you set that up.
Yeah.
And you have to, when karma comes around to your ass, it's coming back hard.
Can't wait.
Evilness. It's enough for everybody to get out here thrice over. And you went and did that that's greed. Gluttony. When we talked about the seven
deadly sins.
Gluttony. Yeah.
I guess the thing that makes me mad about when, because as you guys know, also we have a cold case episode coming up with Miss Fatou. She's one of our guests this weekend. Woo woo.
See my face a lot.
Yes, you guys are. I'm really excited. And then she's gonna be with me on the 12th too. So y'all gonna see her 2 days in a row. Where was I going with my point? The gluttony, just the 7 deadly sins, y'all. Like, I know some people aren't, because I'm not religious anymore. I'm spiritual. So like spirituality rise, like demons and all that other stuff. Like I believe in all of that. All that.
Well, you can't believe in one without the other.
Exactly. But people don't tell.
Yeah, don't say that too loud.
Yeah, don't tell the Christians. Abomination. But anyways, But yeah, so we have our cold case episode coming up this Saturday, March 11th. And I'm actually going to talk about a little bit about Offset's case a little bit, because we're not only going to be talking about just cold cases and missing persons. We're going to talk about recent cases too. We're going to just talk about justice for Black people. That's what Saturday's upcoming episode on Saturday. We're going to be talking about, even though I'm probably going to upload this on Saturday too. I feel like it would coincide better. So people get 3 videos.
Damn.
But we're about to do the damn thing. But I need you guys to please stay tuned for that as well. There's a lot that we're gonna unpack in that episode, y'all. It's gonna be nice and long. I'm gonna have Miss Fatou and then our other 2 guests, which is Miss Naisha. She's an investigator for the public defender's office in Rochester, New York.
Oh.
And then I have another special guest, and I promise not to tell her identity because she's my special guest. So, so it's gonna be us 4 ladies, and we're gonna get down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited for that.
I got a million questions and thoughts, and stories I done made up that could be true. Shit.
I absolutely love it. Well, Ms. Fatou, do you have any final words for Morning Mimosas and or for your people?
Well, thank Morning Mimosas for having me. I'm so excited that I get to see you 3 times back to back. Because this has been like building in the making. As soon as I learn how to work this StreamYard, then I can get you on my podcast. That's my next thing. Speaking of my podcast is on YouTube, is where I upload the videos. But my name on everything is This Could Be a Book, which is TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. It took me a while, y'all, to spell it because it's not spelled correctly. Phonically, it took me a minute, which is crazy. But it's Thizcudbabook, where I will read part of my book that I'm writing or a journal. Sometimes I'll throw a poem in there that I have written and then discuss. Sometimes I'll just have a random topic to discuss, but always about building yourself, being better, healing the trauma, just everything positive, even if I have to defecate out the negative to get there.
You guys heard it here. So I will also be posting all of her links in the description below as well. So you guys look out for that. Ms. Fatou, thank you so much for speaking with me. I look forward to seeing you this Saturday. And as you guys know, this is Morning Mimosas, once again, where we put value in criminal justice, promoting healing and education for our Black community. You guys stay tuned.
Bye.
What you waiting for?